Hello everybody, it is Saturday afternoon. It's about 1:30. I just made it out in the shop. I spent the morning with my wife and daughter. We did a little running around, did some errands, had a little fun this morning. I'm out in the shop and let me show you what I'm going to work on today. I've got these 6 pin kits laid out. They are all, I think they are the last remnants with the exception of one blank from the Mid-Ohio Valley Pin Turners Gathering that I went to last September. So I'm going to start turning these today. And in between turning, when you're doing your CA, you have to put the CA on, you have to wait for it to dry. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to continue working on this. I need to build a drill hanger for this drill, and I need to build something to mount these 2 chargers to for the batteries. And I got to decide what I'm going to do with that. I talked about putting the equalizer here, but I don't know if it makes sense. I'm worried, honestly. This shelf is sturdy enough for this turntable because it's not a lot of weight, but I'm worried about hanging that from there and that putting undue pressure on there, undue weight on there that could cause that to sag because it would only come to about maybe here. It'd be mounted out in front, so all the weight would be out here, so you'd have all that leverage on the back. Probably would hold it because it's only a pound or 2, but I'm actually kind of nervous about that, so I'm rethinking what I want to do with that. But if I can get those things off that table, I'm going to go ahead and put the sander up there today. And I've had some really good suggestions about maybe going and adding wheels to this. People said, oh, build a base and then put wheels under it. But you know what? I don't really have to. I don't know if you can see it or not, but see that bolt right there? This particular table has legs that you can thread in and raise, for leveling is what they are. I think you could probably take wheels and run them through those same holes and bolt them on, and then that could be wheeled. But the issue is, and it's really, issue's the wrong word, I don't have any wheels right now. I have 4 wheels, but none of them have locks on them, and I would want at least 1 locking caster, preferably 2, 1 on each side, so that I could lock it so that it didn't twist. I mean, if you lock 1, it can still kind of move a little bit, but if you lock 2, that'll keep it from twisting. So that's something I've got to look into. Wheels, especially locking casters, are really expensive, and normally what I do is I'll hit the Habitat for Humanity store and I'll buy my casters there. The last time I was there, I bought 4 casters, and I think they were $1 or $1.50 a piece. They're used, but 3 of the 4 were locking casters. So that's perfect. In the meantime, the other option I have is like Harbor Freight sells a furniture dolly, and I think it's under 10 bucks. You get like 20% off with a coupon, and it has 4 wheels on it, and they articulate, they roll, but I don't think any of them are locking. I think they're all just free rolling wheels, but I'm not going to run out and do that today. That's something we'll put in the back of the mind. We'll work on that later. The main thing is let's get the sander on the table and usable. Okay, guys, I got asked today, what do you listen to in the shop? Now, I don't get asked that often, but periodically someone will say, what do you listen to, right? People are curious, and on this channel, I've done a little bit of music, etc. But lately in the shop, I've been listening to podcasts. I have maybe, let's say, 5 to 6 podcasts that I listen to every week, every time they come out. And then I'll trial a few others out here and there to see if I can find something I like. But I'm caught up, right? I'm caught up. I've listened to everything that's come out this week. And what I've been doing is I went back to the beginning of a podcast called The Pin Addict. And I'm on episode about 55 or so, 56 maybe, out of 400. So I got a ways to go, but it's an enjoyable podcast. I love it. I will eventually listen to all of them and catch up. And I listen to the new ones as they come out. But today I'm in the mood for something different. So it's going to make a lot of you guys happy. We're going to fire up the turntable today. And I brought 3 albums out to the shop, and these are not my usual fare. I mean, lately I've listened to a lot of rock in the shop, and I love rock, classic rock. I mean, I love it. But today we're gonna have a little bit of fun. Check it out, Prince, 1999, fantastic album. Got a lot of great memories of Prince from my high school days. It's going to kind of date me a little bit because that album really did not come out in '99, way before that. But a lot of great memories of my high school days. Saw Prince in concert during the 1999 tour. Fantastic concert. He was a brilliant artist, and I absolutely love Prince. And I'm going to date myself even a little bit farther. Some of you guys who are up around my age might remember a company called K-Tel. They used to advertise on TV all the time for these compilation albums. Well, we got a K-Tel 80s rock album here. Got some great tunes on here. We'll talk about that a little bit later as we go through them. And I bought a second K-Tel album out called Starburst, Volume 2. And it's original hits, original artist. It's just a mix-up of good songs from an era, you know, popular songs from when that particular album was pressed. So I think we're going to start out with Prince, but that's what we're going to be listening to in the shop today. So now you know the rest of the story. I built another one of these for my second drill, and I just finished the shelf. I've got power below it. I'm in the process of stringing the cables up so they're nice and neat and out of the way. I don't want them hanging down where they can get caught on something. And then we will get this plugged in so that we can charge batteries right below the drill. So I'm really happy about this. I was actually going to do some turning today, but I turned on the album and I thought, you know, if I turn, I'm going to stop and record, and then I'll listen for like 3 minutes, and then I'll stop and record. And I really didn't want to have that many interruptions. I wanted to enjoy the album, so I just finished listening to 1999. Now I'm going to pop on one of the K-Tel albums, and we're going to try to finish this up, get all these wires tied up nice and neat, get this thing powered so that the batteries are charging, and we're ready to go. And that pretty well, with the exception of the equalizer, frees up the table. I'll go ahead and put my sander on that table, and at that point we'll see where we are and what we want to do next. Well, I just finished turning a pin. Here it is. It's that's made with real feathers. It's a beautiful pin. I had an issue with it, which I covered in the video. Did a little fix. The fix worked out. I'd give the fix 85%. Okay, I'm real happy with what happened. It looks just so much better than it did, but still, you know, I had a problem. It was not a problem with the blank. It was a problem with Bob getting a little too aggressive with the buffing wheels, and but I was able to fix it, so I'm real happy with how it looks. All right, it's about 6 o'clock. I'm really kind of winding down. I've had a heck of a day. You know, I went out and I taught my son how to weed eat today, and basically walked the entire yard with him as he weed eat it. You know, because, well, you know how it is. It's different when you're weed eating along a sidewalk versus along a fence versus next to a house, around a tree. So you got to kind of teach him how to use the weed eater and how to know it's doing how to make it do what you want it to do. I'll probably walk with him 2-3 more times until he feels comfortable, but that took a little bit of time. And then my wife bought a new shelf, and I took care of painting that today. It's out in the backyard drying, so I had a couple of interruptions. Over here, I've got my sander right here. You can see the dust port is on this side, so when I roll it out or pull it out now, I'll have easy connection with the dust collection port here on the lathe. I need to get my stereo turned off. I'm going to finish up this. I was on one of the K-Tel albums, and there's about 2 songs left. I'll just let that play out while I finish cleaning up and getting the shop shut down. But it's been a good day again. I didn't turn as much as I wanted to, but there's always tomorrow. I'll get out here tomorrow. I'll attempt to do, I'll have to hang the shelf that I painted today. So I'll get that shelf hung in the morning. I'll get out here. I've got 5 blanks on the table that I want to turn, and hopefully I can get them turned. Today I just wasn't really feeling it today, but hopefully I can get those turned tomorrow. And tomorrow night we record episode 3 of You Made That? So if you're liking the podcast, episode 2 is fully edited and ready. It's actually just needs to be released. I don't know what day it's going to get released on. I know we were talking about an every other week release, but I think the agreement between the 3 of us is we want to kind of have 3 or 4 go out quickly to sort of, you know, get people interested and get them used to listening and make sure they like it and kind of develop how we want to do the podcast, right? Because it's all new. I mean, everything's new. And then once we get that sort of that rhythm, then we're going to back off to every other week. And we're going to do that simply because each of us has a very busy schedule, and it gives us a chance, you know, we'll try to record on the off week in the event and get a couple of banked up in the event that somebody has to travel or somebody gets sick or there's a reason why they can't make one. We should be able to hang to that pretty closely. And if recording every week goes well, we may just go ahead and release one every week. So we're really up in the air on that. We're just kind of gonna feel it out. So that's it for me for tonight, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great evening, and I'll see you again very, very soon.